I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know I send me a figure flee. Me have to take away me say. Me have to take away me say. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out of sight. Me have to take away myself. I have to take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Show the eye cleave your eyes. I said, yeah. I find you very hard to resist. With this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play.
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. Today is Wednesday, the 28th, and our special guest this morning is Mr. Clyde Jureidini, GM of Harbour Football Club in Jamaica. Today I have with me Flavius and Max Wanette. Top of the morning, guys. Top of the morning.
Grand Rising.
Top of the morning to you. Yeah, top of the morning. And welcome to our listeners this morning and our viewers.
What's going on in each of your neck of the woods?
Well, we have a little sun pushing out. You know, very cool. The past few days, surprisingly, have been extremely cool. I don't know where it's coming from, but the sun is out every day, but the little breeze coming across, and it is very cool, very nice. Very nice.
Yes, that's good. Same thing. I think we in the same place. It's beautiful here in Kissimmee this morning. It's about 78 degrees. It's sunny. Yeah, we got a little breeze going. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we are
it's not so bad.
like that. Yeah.
All right.
Very nice. Very nice.
I don't know, sound exciting. The weather is clean and nice and breezy and cool and this a degree.
Yeah.
remember it's spring. So it's about to wind down, and after that we kick into the summer. So remember that.
I don't believe in spring, you know. I mean, living in North America for a short time, I don't believe in spring at all, you know, because when winter ends, and into winter ends to me around the 5th of May, and everything just gets hot.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Well, we know that's how it is, you know.
I don't know how spring.
You don't know spring feel? Well, is the spring breeze you're feeling now? Right, Max?
That's what that is.
Yes,
yeah.
all of that cool air where you have coming over, where you're feeling this morning, that's the spring breeze you're feeling.
That's right.
Okay.
So when that finish, you're going straight into summer. Remember?
Straight into the heat.
Yeah. By a matter of fact, as it reach what them call it, a Memorial Weekend. From that time, the sun start kick up. Yeah, so that's how it usually be still, you know. But I mean, we have to enjoy what we can enjoy, because some people don't like the summer like myself, especially when it's raining, you know. So that's how it usually go. This morning we don't have an update from St. Vincent, but tomorrow I'm gonna make sure we get one. Because but Max Wanette, you and I were supposed to link up, but unfortunately, I was so busy yesterday.
It happens. But I'm even waiting to hear back. I'm waiting to hear back from my link, and so I haven't heard back from him as of yet.
Okay.
And so as soon as I hear back from him,
and that's another link up in what name the flavors?
St. Vincent.
In St. Vincent. Yeah. So that's another link up. Yeah, so my bad right there, so couldn't get for link up and do anything. You're not what?
I am not hearing any about since I'm not hearing any news about Analyst since Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they are, everything is quiet there.
I think them kind of cool down, I think.
I would get some form of news, and if we have any adverse thing happening.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of thinking it kind of eased down a little bit.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right.
And then rebuild.
Uh-huh.
That is yeah.
Well, we're going to play a song before we get into bringing in our guests at about 11:15 our time, 10:15 his time, and we're doing it this morning by Zoom. So this morning, it's been a while. We haven't touched on, a couple of our artists in our box. And so this morning, I'm going back to one of our veterans,
Yeah.
The one and only.
Yeah,
so here we go.
I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. I really love you, baby. Want you forever. Really love you, baby. Really want you, baby. I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. I really love you, baby. Want you forever. Really love you, baby. Want you, baby. Love I will give you is so powerful, so special. Under your skin it will flow through your veins. My love's insane. This love I give, I just can't stop. It's in your face, even when you turn your back. And just like a magnifying glass, the heat that I transmit will melt your heart. Oh, I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. Really love you, baby. Want you forever and ever. Really want you, baby. Whoa. Ooh, forever and ever. Yeah. I know you're wondering why my love is so strong. It's 'cause I see something in you pushing me on. The day you try to chase my love away is when you know my love was meant to stay. 'Cause this love I give, I just can't stop. It's in your face, oh yeah. When you turn your back, I wish that
Want You Forever, the music of Miss Pam Hall, reaching out to you and you this morning. In case you're having a birthday this morning, happy birthday greetings going out to everyone today. Later on, Max Wanette is going to touch up on, those special birthday greetings. We going to be joining Mr. Jureidini in a few minutes. So in the meantime, listen to this from Miss Pam Hall again.
Walking on sand and holding your hand, feel like a tourist in my own homeland, in my own homeland, enjoying the bright, the warm sunlight. Oh my God, what a beautiful sight, in my own homeland. This place is so nice, wanna do everything twice. Yes, I feel as if I'm in a paradise. No matter the season, you've got every reason. This place is another little heaven. East or west, I couldn't care less. Ooh, this place, it is definitely blessed. My own homeland. North or south, feel free to wander about. You can jump, dance, or sing and shout in my own homeland. Give yourself a treat, a few days or a week, and you will see just what I mean. Just take my advice, everyone is nice. You feel like royalty, my friend. Pulsating, vibrating, reggae, reggae, reggae. Every sky, rock, a steady mental, a quadrillion, a kumina. You can fill your belly with a coconut jelly, mango, papa, cane and Guinea. There's ackee and a saltfish and a roast yam and banana. Curried goat and a managed water. The Sunday special if you like a revival. Catholic, Baptist or Pentecostal. The house of Jah is there, have no fear. Walk right in and get your share. I'm walking on sand. I'm holding your hand. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland. In my own homeland. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland. A homeland, my own homeland. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland. My own homeland.
Yes, indeed. The beautiful voice of Miss Pam Hall, Homeland. Our favorite theme song whenever we're going to bring in a guest or do a famous Did You Know? So, Flavius, our guest is in the waiting room. I'm going to give you the honor this morning of introducing our guest, if you don't mind. So, let's give them a little props again of Homeland, and then we bring in Mr. Clyde Jureidini, GM of Harbour Football Club in Jamaica. Now remember them as the shining star from the East, the boys from the East. So, you ready, Flavius? Matter of fact, let me ask Mr. Jureidini to unmute his mic so we can get some audio out of him. All right. Top of the morning, Mr. Jureidini. Top of the morning.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. We're going to make Flavius introduce. We're going to give Flavius the honor to introduce it this morning. So, Flavius, take it away.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Clyde.
Good morning, Flavius.
This morning we have our guest this morning, Mr. Clyde Jureidini, General Manager of the Harbour Football Club, a gentleman that I've known for a very, very long time, over 40 years. And this man is a man of commitment, because starting a club like Harbour in the time when Harbour started and stuck with it till today, starting it from scratch and bringing it to where it is now, one of the most powerful clubs in Jamaica. I say hats off for a job well done. A footballer himself, and a man who really, really loves the game. I know that personally. I've played with him many times, and it is heartwarming, and good to see people like this is still around who will commit to something and stick with it and build it from scratch until he can see the fruit of his labor. So this morning we welcome the Real Stuff Podcast. Welcome Mr. Clyde Jureidini.
Thanks for having me, Flavius, and thanks for having this moment so we can discuss, as you said, our long friendship of playing on the field and off the field together from the Harbour minor league days from Eastern Kingston, and of course, just being a part of a football fraternity.
All right, so thank you for coming too. We have with us this morning our co-host Max Wanette and myself, along with Flavius Franco and Max Wanette. So,
okay, nice.
Greetings, Brother Clyde. Nice to meet you.
Greetings. Thank you. Nice meeting you all.
All right, I'm gonna ask the first question, and for those who don't know who Clyde Jureidini is, could you give them a synopsis of who you are?
Like everyone is just a human being who came into the world and fell in love with the beautiful game of football. Was very fortunate to cross paths with a whole bevy of people who just moved into a new housing scheme in Eastern Kingston named Harbour just post-independence, and followed my bigger brother Michael and the other youngsters on the road. Anything that was activity. My father was always into cricket and sports and would carry us anywhere and everywhere with him. And so we grew up liking sports, particularly cricket, where we started on the streets, in the backyard and the carport. And then there was always no place to really go and express yourself within the community. There was never a sporting ground, a recreation center, or worse, a football field that was planned or built in Harbour. So all the youngsters, long before me, from that time, I grew up watching the youngsters play at Aqua Park, a little triangle space that, when you look at it now, is really a futsal size field that had 20 or more players every day playing. The open spaces were quickly taken up by the drive-in or the Donald Corey School a little later. And you really just had to fend for yourself. So most of the players really played on the streets, morning, noon, and night. Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, you know. And so you really develop a love for the game, and that was the community that boys and girls grew up in and was a part of it and learned from the elders, just how you grow in school, playing every game imaginable, having manners to everybody and going from one house to the next and just having fun.
True. I want to know more about. I was going through some of the stuff that you guys send, the honorary things that, you know, how Harbourview really started the football club back in 74?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was amazing because
It happened before 74.
well, there's a wheel
The
structure.
Harbour Football Club, he rightfully said in 1974.
Yeah.
But as we all know, and this
The
is
community started before that. The community started before that. Yeah.
When the community started. And so informally, probably 10 years before that. And as I go, as I go through the series, people are teaching me and guiding me, and we're sharing the information for others to come, because we don't write with history and we don't talk about it enough.
Exactly.
And we have the facts. So it's an attempt to generate that and to encourage others to add to it. So about 64, they started playing the kids over where the open space was, and then the shopping center was built. So they had to vacate.
Yes.
They moved to a next space. Some other building or some other community development was taken over. And so you move from one space to the next. 1966 was officially the first time we entered as an organized community in the only competition that was sponsored by D&G at the time. It was called the Minor League.
Minor League, yeah.
Right, the under 16 competition. So that was the first competition. And we entered as Harbourview, just using the community name. No football club. We never reached that stage. So we played minor league in 66 as a group, and it developed, got to the final in 67, 68, lost to Pembroke 1-0 there, and then it continued to develop until 72. We actually won the minor league for the first time. And in 74, Russellville, Neville Glanville, and CONCACAF started this new competition based on geographic locations and housing schemes to take over from the Division 1 and Division 2. That was CONCACAF Major League in 73. We weren't ready, so we played the secondary Division 2. And then the next year, we brought back all the players, Ronald Pigott-Chung and Carvel Stewart and Vin Blade and others. Brought back all the players from Santos, from Real Mona, from Cavaliers, and everybody came home to Harbour. We played in 74. That's when we officially formed the club.
Exactly.
March 4th, 1974. That now becomes Harbour Football Club. But 10 years before that, the seeds were being planted and developed.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because that's why I remember it too. You know, growing up at the time, I used to visit between Mountain View, Rockfort, and all them places. But one of the things now I remember, one of my most memorable game, I tell Flavius about it all the time, and Flavius say, I don't remember it because maybe he wasn't in Jamaica, and it was one night.
I wasn't.
Oh, Harbourview. I don't remember if John P. Harris was playing, but I know you guys defeated Boyz Town 6-3.
Oh, yeah.
You were playing too, because it's like you and Ital were like the two fastest player on the front line. I mean, that was one of the finest game I've ever seen. Harbourview beating Boyz Town back then, 6-3. And I was telling Flavius, surprisingly, you know, who scored the 3 goals for Boyz Town? Ali McNabb.
Yes, man. He was bombing. I scored 2 headers in that.
Exactly.
I was, as always, on point. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, well.
And bigger garden.
You were sharp that night, man. You were just running down the wing like crazy.
Yeah.
like you guys do a special run to Gunboard that week just to play at Boyz Town. You guys were sharp.
One of the many runs out on the sun. We used to run from Harbourview down by the roundabout.
Yes.
On the sands and come back or sprint on the road, and then to warm up or run go up the hills behind the the compound up to the tower. And that was warm up.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So, back then you have like Jumpy Harris, Itals through Russell Bell and Balance, Bert. I can't remember his last name, but they call him Bert. And you know, Davey in goal. It was an awesome team, but yet still you guys were overpowered. Yes, we were. That's the Mark Salmon. I used to tell him, said Harbourview had 2 Mark Salmon, Big Mark and Little Mark Salmon.
Yes, the second Mark also from Campbell was Mark. We used to call him Rogo.
Rogo. Yeah.
That's right. Big Bird was a midfielder.
And that was my baller, the Big Mark Salmon, because he was a midfielder, awesome player, a big kick, ball control like crazy. It was like a Junior Grove and him in midfield was awesome.
That's right. I mean, Mark used to train with Alan Skill Code. So you get where Mark Caliban pedigree was coming from. So that sort of ball control, that sort of stance, that sort of dominance, that sort of preparation and fitness level. He was awesome.
Yeah. But over the years, as you guys started to develop, right, and start winning tournaments and things like that, I remember you guys were a participant in the Caribbean CONCACAF tournament.
Yes.
Maybe one of the few teams who have ever, gone that far. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, we were one of the early teams who ventured into that. Actually, we started touring internationally, of course, through the Caribbean first, around about 1979. We went to Cayman Islands, and then we went to Trinidad and Tobago, played against the like of the great Everall Galley Cummins in that adventure. And then we learned from that he liked playing against a 16-year-old at the time. Well, Keith wasn't 16 at that time. It would have been Keith would have about 18 or 19. The late Keith Cunningham. That Flavius would know from that Bournemouth era and Eastern Kingston that him and his brother Bernard Gargan Cunningham came from. And then came to Harbourview.
Clyde grew up in my hand.
Come again, Flavius?
Keith and his brother grew up in my hand.
There you go. And Vernon came and started the mini league. But back to Keith. But when we played, Keith played as a youngster against Galley, and he was so impressed because he was one of the few professional players in the Caribbean at that time. And so he offered Keith a trial to come back to Trinidad to train and to go pro. He went back, but a lot of things happened and it never worked out that Keith would go pro. So we realized, hold on there, we can have players go professional as a youngster like this, as a teenager. And so we explored it and started getting into the Caribbean and the CFU club champion, 1985-86. Another 18-year-old youngster, this time Altamont Freddie Butler. He went to a game that we played against in Guadeloupe. Himself and Clennon Clark, Linval McKenzie, Howard Kane were the midfielders. And they picked out this little ball artist called Freddie Butler and offered him an international contract. And that was our first international transfer. He went to Guadeloupe and later went over to the French Professional League, and of course was with San Jose in the first franchise when the North American USL League broke in 1996. So we learned of getting into international football through the Caribbean to competition and then to transfer players as teenagers overseas. And from that we learned and developed on that through the decades.
Yes, that's true. Over the years, when I see like Boyz Town, Santos, Santos was well organized at the time. Yes. There are people who used to tell me that, surprisingly, that's the same set of players. Like Arthur Santos is Harbourview. Just like how you'd have Third World, after Third World is what you call it, next band, Inner Circle band. So that's right. it happened that way because we were a new community and we were developing our football culture, philosophy, and our makeup, and so we were
once we played under 16, we had nowhere to go. We had no club. We had no field. We had no structure, but we had the desire. And we definitely had an abundance of talent. So people like myself and Newton Archer Richards, father of Sanya Richards, fame, and Jack Percy, Percival Dennis, who played with us, may also know from that era. We went from Excelsior up the road to Leighton Duncan at Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Followed people like Bertram Beckett and Kurt Nedrick, who were there from Excelsior and guided us there. Shani Hales was the go-getter, Davey's elder brother and the captain and organizer. So he went to Realmont and carried like Keith Barnaby Tulloch, little Davey, Paul Robinson, one of the best players you have ever seen. Died early in the States, unfortunately, and others there. And Ronald Piggy Chung was the right-hand man of Winthrop Jackie Bell and the Santos organization. So there is where the problem lies, because Derek Golden, our minor league coach and player from Harbourview, was assisting Jackie with the youth teams. And so the under 15 and under 16 teams that coach Derek Golden was coaching for Jackie Bell at Santos had people like Mark Bigberg Salmon, Dave Lawson, Michael Nigger Charlie Mason, and other players from Harbourview who were in the Santos youth teams and the senior team. Michael Fatai Thompson, D.V. Heels, Bert, others were in the senior team. So when it was time for us to go home, all the Harbourview players, including Owen Eitel Stewart, who was at Cavaliers, were asked to come back to Harbourview in 73, 74 to now enter under the auspices of Harbourview. Eitel didn't come. Okay. Because Eitel was invited to join the House of Dread, who, like Harbourview, entered the CONCACAF competition in 1974. So Eitel played that first year with Skill Cole and the historic House of Dread team. But they only played for a year, and then Eitel came after to join his brother, Carvel Stewart, and his other brother, J.J. Stewart, and the rest of us at Harbourview. So that's how that went. So a lot of us moved from Santos in a bulk, and Piggy was the person there, and Piggy had to stop people like Doug Marston from also coming, because he didn't want to erode more into that friendship that Jackie Bell. But yes, a lot of us were at Santos before Harbourview was built, so we still keep that link to this day.
Was Billy Perkins a part of the team once? Billy Perkins used to play with you guys before, right?
Billy Perkins lived on Fortune Drive in Harbourview, right inside Pee Wee, Nib, and Errol and Derek Coach Golden, bottom of Howard Drive, just across from the shopping center. Those were the early persons. And Billy and the big center of our school at the time from St. George's was Nigel Pumi Goodison. So those were the two central defenders. And big names from Casey and George's in Manninco that were living in Harbourview, played at Aqua Park, and represented with Shani Hales and Vin Blaine and others that first 1966 minor league under 16 team at Harbourview.
One of the things that I noticed about Harbourview, and it's still, it seems like it's embedded now because you guys are still doing that, is the youth program. You guys used to have a good feeder program of youths coming from, a lower level, maybe 10 into minor league and then on into major league. And I know one of the players that I play with at school was Linval Mackenzie, the farmer, Capo.
Yes.
He moved up from the same youth level all the way into the national team at Harbourview. I mean, the senior team at Harbourview.
Yes. Well, you're touching on a nerve there, because Linval grew up in my hand. Linval grew up from his family home with his younger brother, Alwyn. Linval came to my Arantes football club because as the mini league started in 76, the mini league was under 16 because the youth competition, again, was all we had, the minor league. So we started from the basis that everybody have to play minor league. And then we learned almost a decade later, after we got in 66, by 76, we need to develop our own internal mini league system. So we covered the CONCACAF structural system and the Everall, Milo, Roper, and Vernell, Gaga, and Cunningham put together this thing called Mini League because we're casually having people like Coach Blackie and Dicko and other people having the guys in the community come to compound, because that was the only space we were allowed to stay, because it was a wreck. Nobody cared about it.
Yeah.
And so they played there, and so they organized it in 1976. We had the Mini League formed that you could have 5 teams in the first instance: Beckenbauer, Color Red, Rocky Park from over the river, and who was the next team? I still remember. All of them came in there, and then that started that competition. That then got the minor league official team, the under 16 team, to win again in 1976, won 72 and 73. And once that mini league started, we were back to ever best, winning 76 and 77. And people from that team, the late Keith Cunningham, Dougie Bell, and Carl Grant, 3 of those played under 16, under 19, and Major League with the senior players. Won all the competitions that year.
Yeah. I remember that 77 team because...
so much that Dougie Bell sent me yesterday, and I'm going to publish it today, sent me yesterday, here's a picture of his trophy that he won in the mini league.
Okay.
In 1976 that he still has and was so dear to him. So when he sees the series, he said, Clyde, this is what I have. You see how they cherish it, as all of us cherish those memories, because that's where we come from. And that's what we're proud of. So the youth league we still hold today in first kick. So it's from 4-year-olds to 13-year-olds. And that has made us 4-time champions for the under 13 in the last 4 years. But the youth program is the bedrock, the nursery, and the foundation of what we build. All our age group teams, right up to Premier League, right up to international, and reggae boys and girls. That's the basis of it.
That minor league team of 77 was awesome because I never play against them until 78, the other minor league team with Magic Head. But the 77 team, I remember that team distinctively because I was playing for Mountain View Garden, who was representing Vineyard Town at the time.
Okay.
And we played
that was
Jackie Walters.
Jackie Walters' team. Yes.
And we played against Elliston Flats because you guys play Elliston Flats in the final, and they beat us
more than once.
They beat us 2-1 in that semi-final over by Stadium West to face you guys in the finals. Yeah, and so but that was an awesome team.
Elliston Flats is dear to us. Elliston Flats was the team we beat 4-1 in the final in 1972. The first year we won a trophy, right? And so Elliston Flats was a team we defeated in the finals for that competition inside the National Stadium. So Elliston Flats is always dear to us. And when we went inside the stadium to play one of the first games in the CONCACAF Major League, I think it was the second game we played Elliston Flats, because the first one, I'm pretty sure it was Pembroke we came out against, but Elliston Flats is always part and parcel of our football heritage and history.
So,
like the Jordan brothers, etc.
How do you guys maintain that structure that you have now? Because I know you have a good directorship and management crew together from the late Daddy.
Yes.
From the late Daddy.
Daddy Stewart is the chairman, and still leads with conviction, with vision, with experience.
And he's been around a long time, man.
Long time, man. I mean, he has been there from the start. He was right there with Ronald Pigichong and Sidney Masters and the Terence Slater, the whole cohort. So we have been fortunate, knock on wood, that people like himself and many of them, Vin Blaine is still here, the leadership that we grew up with as friends, as family, as football fraternity, we can still follow them. We know their every personality, and we do have to ask, and we can question ad nauseum, because there's a trust, there's a bond, and there's a lifestyle that we all build together. When things get rough, we get rough.
Yeah.
And when things get smooth, we get smooth, because we have been through every facet of it. from the old stony dusty field that come from to having nothing, to begging everything, to trying to break new borders. So yeah, he's there, and Ludlow Bernard as the technical director has taken over from Vin Blake, and Vin is gone more international into the Caribbean and at CONCACAF. And so we continue to grow and try to pass it on to the next generation and try to improve it with all the players who have had international professional football experience in lands afar globally, that they come back and help and guide us and pitch in, and we'll take over.
True.
So that's the heritage.
The club is now a registered corporation.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you guys did all of that, any other clubs in Jamaica have follow suit after?
Yeah, man. Okay. Many other clubs have, and like everything, we may be ahead in something. Others clubs are ahead in other things, and we share the information. Sometimes to our own detriment, because Carvel, myself, Ludlow, all of us are called on all the time to help, to guide, to assist, and to pass our knowledge. People not going to give us much help, but we give everybody because that is what is demanded of us. So we have shared with the PLCA leadership, with CASAFA for over 50 years, with the clubs, with the friendship and the build and the response. We grew up with so many others in the football fraternity. So yes, it's part and parcel, the GFF, everybody that we do that with. Right now to the PFGL that we are integrally a part of. So that's part of our responsibility that we don't shy away from.
Do you have like a summer program now in place for the kids that when summer break they are there?
No, we used to, but we found that after we build up a summer program, particularly for the kids, swelled in about 2008, 2009 to about over 350 kids, and it almost became a daycare nursery because mothers and parents would just drop them off, and sometimes all 5-6 hours after you pass and the kids are still there, and you realize, hold on, now this is just kids being left after they play to pass time. And so we have to trim it and cater to the new demands that say you need to develop a structure and an academy, and you have under 10, under 12, under 14, under 16. And so we broke them into different age groups, and we had to choose the better ones because we couldn't reach everybody, because everything is highly voluntary. And so 3, 4, 5 of us can't coach 300 kids. Best analysis and the best intention, but you can coach 20 and 25 in a group, and on a prolonged, and you realize some are serious and some are just keeping fit, and some are just passing time, as well as some are just having fun. So we have to channel that into a more structured academy, and it's no longer summer, it's 12 months of the year. And so the last 13 months have been particularly disturbing for the parents, who are as eager, and even some of them worse than the children, to get involved, because they have been shut out, and there has been very, very much consideration for anybody save for the Premier League. The parent competitions are non-existent. The youth competitions are not even spoken of. And the JFF president said about 2 weeks ago, they won't be played. And so I don't think people realize, even the national technical directions have said nothing about youth competition. And these youngsters only not playing in clubs. They're not playing in schools either. And so now everybody is eager to get going and to get that program up. But we have to adhere to all the social distances, the restrictions, the team, So we might be able to do it in small amounts, once or twice, but we really have to wait on the permission for training, groups, and all the sanitization and all those things to be administered. So we're on that line.
Before I hand you over to Flavio, sir, I have one more question to ask you, and that's about the relationship with the past players and the present and the structure of Harbourview right now. What's the relationship like?
Well, in a word, good. I mean, we keep in touch with as many players as we can one-to-one. Some players will gravitate more to Coach Bernard because he coaches them and he's more in contact with the current set of players. The group before that may be directly in touch with Coach Donovan, D.V. Hayes, because he was his, and/or myself, and they have been in international programs and have come back home. Some players before that may be directly in contact with Vid Blade or Carvel Stewart, or just their friends and their family or the supporters around. But we keep in contact and they keep in contact, and social media is a wonderful thing as we are going through now. So that has come into the forum, and they're on the Harbourview social media sites and our Facebook page, and they contribute and they want to know, and they send me comments, and like the things I told you with Dougie Bell and others once I said the series going on, and they see a face or a name that they don't remember the hint and say, it wasn't that, it was two of us and it was three, I remember that, and you don't talk about this yet, and remember for big up Milo and things like that. So
yeah, Milo.
That's what it is now.
Milo, there's so many players from the past I could reel them off right now, and some people wouldn't remember them, while some would remember them. Flavors, are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
All right, your segment now. You can go ahead.
Yeah, Clyde.
Yes,
if we could leave Harbourview for a little.
Okay.
And at the same time we leave COVID out of it.
Okay.
What is your take on the should I put this now? On the state of football in Jamaica?
Waiting.
So the impact on COVID.
Waiting anxiously, like a dad in the waiting room, see if the baby will be born and everything will be well. We've been waiting for 13 months since March last year, and hopefully by next week, May the 4th, we should hear from the PFJL if all the presentations, the suggestions are approved by the ODPM, by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, by the Ministry of Culture, Entertainment, Gender and Sports, for those approvals to be given jointly to the GFF, the UII, and the 12 Premier League clubs and the PFJL to host a bubble-type shortened season between June 1 to the end of August with 85 games. And the restricted season is a safe face if it is to come on stream. And so we're hoping that does come on stream and it will be executed properly. And we're hoping even more that come September or October, the next season will be devoid of all these restrictions and we have a fuller and a better season, but hoping for Premier League to start and for that to open the gate flavors for the parish competition, the youth competition, the school competition, and sports in general to make the Quantum League back onto the field of play rather than us here talking about it and looking at other sporting ventures making progress worldwide.
Okay. I am as I heard you read out the title for, and I mean that ends with sports in the ministry.
Yes.
One of the things that I feel strongly about, and I want your opinion on it. Okay. That it is time that Jamaica has a ministry of sport. What's your take on that?
Yes, I think for me, both sports and entertainment are two buoyant industries that need specialist ministries. And I think we are missing a lot of practical and entrepreneurial opportunities globally by having it encroached behind culture, behind gender, and under one super ministry. And I think the ministry and the ministers and those in leadership are doing as best as they can, but the mere fact that we are leaders in athletics globally, definitely in the Caribbean, we're one of the top three, the number one in the Caribbean with football, netball, and other sports, and we are here and we can't start, says that I guess the pandemic has shown this is one of the shortcomings that we have, much like how we have failed and really just are now behind with the new cannabis ganja industry that the world has taken off. We are behind with entertainment and sports, and those need to be fast-tracked and put in specialized bubbles, and some serious investment need to come to the fore and get on an international level.
Yeah, another big topic is the amount of or the access that Jamaican players have. Jamaican meaning people who play in Jamaica, are born in Jamaica, even ones that play abroad, have to the national team, based on the model being pursued by the JFF.
Yes. Well, let me first of all congratulate technical director, head coach for the senior team, Theodore Tapper Whitmore, because his leadership in the current situation over the last few years has been extraordinary, and it follows the Wendell Downswell, who is also in a position of leadership now, and of course people like Carl Brown and Winston Chungfa and Leighton Duncan, George T. going all the way back, Jackie Bell and Dennis Zeri, but Tapper has really put the local players and young players have been given opportunity to break that glass ceiling, and he has, like Carl Brown did before, focus on the local players to bring them through, and they have rewarded him healthily. Unfortunately, since March 2020, the local players here who reside in Jamaica have been cut off at the knees because they have been devoid of competition or preparation. And so the immediate focus has gone back to looking at overseas, because they're active, because they're professional, because we have a Gold Cup in July that we have to prepare for the bigger dance of getting to the World Cup 2022 in Qatar, that we have to push forward with those now. But Tapper has done a wonderful job with getting the local groups there and getting players there. But until that approval is given for the local thing to come up in the short run, we're going to be left with the short end of the stick. But the North American, European, and global Jamaican-born players who are there and form the basis of that group, now we have an inflow of English-based players wanting to come in. And fortunately, we have both the Gold Cup and the World Cup that more than the average amount of people can go through, and we have to be very careful to pick the best team and to prioritize getting to the World Cup rather than winning the secondary Gold Cup, in my view, as the most important thing in Qatar 2022.
Okay.
And looking at the Premier League now, and the Premier League, how would you say, what do you say the Premier League is? It's a semi-pro league, or it's a pro league, or whatever?
Semi-pro with the high ambitions of becoming a pro in the next 5 years. The excellent work done from 2006 with the Premier League Club Association, the PLCA, has driven that high intensity forward. And now the PFJL has brought on over 300 million in potential sponsorship, waiting for the approval, and that will kick it up a notch if that goes. But hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years, we will transition from semi-pro with ambitions to pro, and to a full globally recognized pro league.
So I think that time frame is adequate?
I think it will break into it, but professionalism, as we see in the EPL, really got to high intensity in early 1990 when all the walls of the world came down in 1992. the English Premier League come of age. So here we are 30 years later, but those 5 years between 1992 to 1997, when the 1996 is when the Major League Soccer in the USA came on stream. It takes a couple decades to really get to where you're going. Where in the process we have gone past the first decade and a half. We need, in my view, a next decade and a half to get to really where we want to. But the first 5 years and the next 5 years is important because Flavius, the CONCACAF region is going to host a World Cup in 2026, hosted by USA, co-hosted by USA, Mexico, and Canada. So now there's a mega opportunity to not just to go to 2022, but to go to 2026 as well, for males and the females. The Reggae girls got there last time. And so now, if the male and senior teams can get to World Cups, get back to World Cups, and start to repeat at World Cup, then you have a bridge to climb over. And that could help that dynamism in the next 5 years.
That's true.
What about the JFF on the drive with the women? I mean, even after they went to the World Cup, the JFF couldn't put a league together. They couldn't get a sponsor.
Yes.
I think it was very bad.
We have those shortfalls and we'll continue to have shortfalls like that. And while the JFF has to take the brunt of the blame, we have to be careful that we don't throw everything at the feet of the JFF. The JFF cannot and will not do everything. All of us as stakeholders have to carry our own weight. And same thing we demand of them, we have to demand of ourselves. And the sponsors now may be looking at football as a business, much like the government and the Ministry of Sports we spoke of earlier. The society has taken football and sports as a secondary, non-important thing, as a pastime.
Right, yeah.
Kids. And so until that mindset changes and we start to see cricket and sports as a business, as to entertainment and others, then we're going to be behind. And we can blame the JFF all we want, but it's not the JFF responsibility alone.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. But one thing I would say about the JFF though, and you can probably pass it on, I think they need to incorporate a travel policy and probably hire a travel expert.
A logistic personnel.
To make their tours and trips more, work better.
Yes.
Because we have been having too many problems with teams going from A to B and, people traveling. And it shows that the people who are doing that don't have the necessary skill set to do it properly.
That's true. And experience. But they're learning and they're taking some heavy blows for it, but have promised that is one of the priority items that will be improved. Now going to the Gold Cup and going to the World Cup. So everybody is watching them and holding them their feet to the fire as well, but we have an inherent problem that we have to recognize. We are not a rich economy. We are not one of the European countries. And we have other priorities that, like the health, like education, like employment, like crime, that we all, as a Jamaican society, both those of us here and those in the diaspora and globally, have a problem with. And we don't have the monies to fix all of them one time. So while we will complain and while we will point fingers, we also have to find solutions. And a lot of those solutions are, commercialization and revenues, which will fall short of, and the world is falling short of. In the post-pandemic, you all would see what some of the European super clubs were trying to get in the Super League last week or so, until that crashed, because everybody realized and said to him, the world is not just about money and greed. It's about much more than that. So if we find that right balance, both here and worldwide.
Max Wanet.
One minute.
Okay.
As we look towards becoming a football nation as we thought we were sometime long time ago.
Yes.
Are the players being groomed for the transition?
The answer is yes. And the answer is that it can be done better, broader, and faster. But the answer is generally yes, but like everything else, it can be improved and enhanced.
Okay. That is good to know, because everybody wants to see Jamaica being a football nation, but it's something have to come from inside of you, not it's not something you create. It's something you have to work at to make people understand the power of the game. And well, everybody should know the beauty of the game, but there is a lot of power in the game also, and a lot of income for the players. It's a whole set of players that you don't have to find menial employment for.
Yes. Well, that's great. That's great all around, thankfully, and a lot more players are getting a lot more opportunity at a younger age to play professionally across the globe. So that helps, and it will help their family, their community, and the football industry as well.
The whole country. Yeah.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Yeah, Max.
Thanks, Olivia. I have a question for you, Clyde. I was wondering, I know you have played you've been involved in so many games.
Yes.
Is there any one particular game that stands out that if you could relive it again, you would do it the same way?
Oh boy, that's a big question.
I know.
On a level of historic importance, there was a whole series of high quality games between Harbourview and Boyz in the decade of the 80s. And we led one by 2-0 and couldn't take it over the line, and Boyz came roaring back, and all their fans from down Crossroads and outside the stadium who had left and given up came back, and they beat us in extra time, and then we turned on a year or so later and returned the favor when they were leading us 3-1 and knocked them out. But I think every Harbourview supporter who was at that game and around that time would have wished that those 2 goals scored by a young little teenage left winger called Carl Grant from Woodman's, who scored in those 2 goals for Harbourview that night, that we could have held on and won that game. But such is history. And here we are, ourselves, Boyz and the CONCACAF Major League and the football fabric of Jamaica, I think, was much richer because of it. So you win and lose, but it is what it is. But that one comes first.
I see one of my favorite Harbourview playing at the chat room, Junior Grove, man.
Oh yes,
that's a man who had some touches back then from Wolmer's days right up and into Harbourview.
Wow.
You know, Clyde, I should ask you that question. Big ups, Junior. I should ask you that question, you know. The 6-3 game, it left a scar on me. Because,
and a lot of people.
Yeah, because I never expect Boyz to lose by such a margin, 6-3. And the way you guys play that game is like, for every time you score, you were leading like 2-0 before, and when Boyz tried to come as close, you guys stretch it to 4-1.
Yeah, man.
And by that time,
even terms.
By that time, we know it was
over. Once we got that beaten, we had to fight again.
Yeah,
not make them come on even terms. We know the danger.
Yeah, man. By that time, we know it was over. When it was 4-1, we said no.
I done.
There's a gentleman in the room named Dan Monroe. You know, sending some big ups to you as well.
Oh, big up Dan. Dan is a Harbourview player from back in the day, and his family, the Kirkland family, have a whole bevy of Harbourview players, captains, and national players from Driftwood Avenue. So big up yourself, Dan. Dan is. And his son now plays in academies in England. So,
I would say the achievement Harbourview is top notch right now, because in 2015, you came here with a group of players, some young players up in Miramar. You remember that it was Unifest that year.
Yes.
And you play against a team from Wycliffe John team from Haiti.
Yes.
And you guys were losing 2-0 and came back and draw the game. You know, it was a wonderful game. I mean, you could see all the Harbourview fans back in the 70s and the 80s. They showed up that night.
Bird Butter Robinson was at that game.
That's what I'm saying. All of them showed up.
Gargan Cunningham, Robert Ratty Hall, people like that came to that game. We actually came there with just about 12 players that were called like the promoter Noel and short order. So we tried to fit the bill, and people like Brian Brown and Kemar Taxi, Lauren, Christopher Jamel, Harvey, Dickey Williams, Cliffy Waugh, and then we had to incorporate Shamar Shelton, Luton's younger brother, because he was in the area and we were shorter players.
Okay.
And so we did what we had to do, but it was a nice game and a good memory.
True. As you mentioned, Luton, you lost a great player.
Oh, yes.
And will you guys be having any memorial soon?
Well, we follow the guidance and the leadership of his family because, you know, they are the central figure. We honored him. Fortunately, we had a chance to honor him before his passing on a Monday Night Live game. And I'd send the picture to Flavius. Hopefully, you guys have it with the family and friends and others like Paul Tiga Davis, the man he eclipsed to be the all-time leading goal scorer. With 35 goals as the male. And then one of our girls, Khadija Bunny Shaw, had eclipsed him. Yeah. So we're fortunate to have the leading male and female goal scorer.
What an achievement.
For Jamaica. And she has 39. And she's doing well in the French professional league now.
In French,
That's one of the things I like. You guys have a unit, a female there and staff as well, you know, and that's a good look. I love it. That's a good look.
Well, we have lost that contact since Coach Pinblin had to depart they drafted him as technical director with Winfred Schaefer for the JFF and the national team, and then he has gone into the Caribbean islands and continue that international aspect. He's working as a CONCACAF coaching instructor. So we are very careful of who is in charge of the female team, and so we haven't really had the person or the interest to rejuvenate over the last about 4 or 5 years since Vin has departed. But if that's a possibility, we would look at getting it back on stream if properly organized and funded with the right persons, of course.
Okay. Some comment from Junior, and he said, I have traveled the world because of football. Our government have not seen the value of sports, obviously, but just look at Denmark and Sweden, and you will see sunken. A government knows the value of sport. All people taxes pay for youths to get off the street and play organized sports, reduce crime, and it build the community.
Yeah. You see, the value of crime and social intervention is not being looked at. And the same could be said of entertainment in many ways. And so I think those are some of the opportunities we're not looking at and not calculating as a business opportunity and potential for real growth, along with things like agriculture and other aspects, non-traditional things that we have to look for, not just tourism. There's sports tourism, which is what we're doing now, and other aspects that we need to look with a different eye, with a commercial, valuated aspect, and then give everybody the so people can earn a livelihood from and build careers from on a professional level.
There's a question somebody just texted me. The games that Boyz Town and Harbourview played back in the days, are they available on YouTube? Or
No.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, is no. I think in those days only JBC was the only television station. And people like Ed Bands and Hugh Kraskill and Bobby
Bobby Frey.
Bobby Frey. I could never forget Bobby Frey. Were the persons who did commentary along with some others at that time, but they used to film them and then edit them for news, and then they rub them out or take over them.
Man.
And so JBC have lost all that. I am proud to say I have one.
Which one?
The one when Harbour came from behind to win 4-3.
4-3.
And retired people like Carl Brown and Ali McNabb.
You mean hold on. The match you guys win. You guys no. You guys no. That's not how I remember it.
From the whole 8-track tape, whole video tape into the digital. So that's the only game I know of. And
Clyde,
anybody having it.
That's not how I remember that game. You guys won 1-0 the week before. And then the second week it was a 3-3 draw, and you
That's
guys
correct.
Yeah.
Into extra time.
Wainwright Davis scored the first goal in the first leg. And Rogo scored the last to make it 3-3.
Late.
Yes.
All right.
That's how I remember it. But you have it on tape?
I have a copy of it that I hold very, very close to my chest.
Oh my gosh. That means it won't be seeing the light of YouTube. That's
let's see. This is something that we
what you should do.
Let's see, because it's not familiar, and I've shared it before, and I look and see how we can best share it again. Especially know that you have reminded me about it.
Make a copy of the copy.
Yes, we need a copy of it.
The original, but you know, rights and this, and we have to look at the commercial value.
We're going to make Flavius. We're going to make Flavius.
Look at that now in today's landscape.
We're going to make Flavius lobby for it.
Development.
Here, Clyde.
1,000 youths want to come through.
We're going to make Flavius lobby for it. Negotiate for it. Oh my gosh, that's good. That's good. Any more questions?
I have one more.
Okay. Go ahead.
I am curious, Clyde, where do you see the club going forward? I mean, what do you see? What goals are you setting? Where do you want to carry this? How far you want to go? I know there's no limit, but give us a little idea, a little preview.
The simple answer to that, Max, is to be a fully professional outfit, and as soon as possible. Because the demands for the growth is bigger than us. We extended in the 60s and the 70s. We had one team. In the 60s, we had one team, the under 16, the minor league, because that's all we knew. That's all was there. By the time the 70s start with the major league, we then have had an under 16 and a senior team, two teams. But since then, 4 or 5 decades after, we have under 7. We have under 10, we have under 13, 15, 17, under 20, had under 21, had female team, and we have Premier League. And as Flavius, and I will tell you, we enjoy the Masters over 35 and over 35, and now the Senior Masters, which I call the Golden Masters, over 45, because everybody plays longer in a more healthy lifestyle. So that's 7 or 8 tiers of football, and they're all casual or semi-professional or amateur, and they need to be professionalized. So at the moment, for the last 2 years, we have been trying to condense from the under 7 to the under 17 in a formal academy, not just the teams, but to get them as an academy and on international standard. Needs a lot of funding, need a lot of infrastructure, need a lot more people. And so that's a major step that we're trying to go through. So that's the primary goal, to get the Premier League balance, that we have to keep exporting players internationally, because that's what funds the ongoing development and investment in the club. But we have to get back to being a competitor, to win the Premier League rather than just to participate, because we have to be selling our best talent every year. And that demand on Harbour is greater than any other, I dare say, in Jamaica. So we have to balance that, and then we have to fund it, organize it, and have people working on a full-time basis as their career, and pay them, from players, coaches, managers, and across the board, just like it's been done in Costa Rica and the Central American teams, in North America with the USA that have money to stone dogs, as we would say. Canada, who has a professional league that they are now developing. All our competitors do it. We never talk about Europe, but we have been working with clubs, with Junior, myself and Junior, work with Link FC and other academies who develop and recruit players from Jamaica and Trinidad and Toronto, where Junior is. And our academies feed into European academies to have 3 and 5 month practical experiences for players, and then transfer them into Europe, which is the era we think where we must channel the players directly. And so we have people like Kemara Taxi Lawrence breaking into the Belgian league, and Damien Lowe and Williams, who are in Africa breaking into that continent. We still have players like Jeremy Lynch, who follow Kevin Bryan and Andre Fagan into the Vietnamese league, and we have players all over the world. So we're trying to get on that level from development and, of course, at a senior level. But it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of input, and it takes time.
All right, Clyde, before we leave, I have 3 words I'm going to ask. You can answer. Your reply can be a sentence, a statement, or a phrase. So let me know when you're ready.
Ready when you are.
All right. First one, Harbour View.
Harbour View is the center of our being as Harbour Football Club, which is why we cherish the name, honor the name, have honored it for 50 years, and keep that name through sports and the sport of football on the radar, locally, regionally within the Caribbean, and globally as a renowned football entity. So it means everything to us. It's the background and the platform from which we launch our football club.
Football in Jamaica
needs a lot of input, needs a lot of commitment, needs a lot of business organization to move from casual to semi-professional and now into professional realms, both at the club level, across the 14 parishes, and for the Reggae Boys and Reggae Girls internationally.
Team
is the basis of everything, both on the field and off the field. And it's not just the individuals, it's how everybody collectively works together and achieve similar goals that will help eventually that we make progress or we do not.
Okay, thank you. I just get a text here. Somebody wants to ask a question. Mm-hmm. Is it true that you're doing a podcast weekdays?
No, I did a podcast last year when the pandemic broke with my daughter, Janelle, that we interviewed over 60 former players, coaches, managers, supporters in the club, because as we are doing now, we found that we wanted to engage communication to shed some light on players and people that people didn't know, didn't remember, or wanted to reestablish contact.
Okay.
And so we did that series that we had for about 4 months that we ran, and all of them are stockpiled on our Harbour View Facebook page. So go there and you can pick, choose, and refuse anybody who you want. As we are doing now, the 47 series this year that we started in April, around the same time we started that last year with Sean Fraser as the first, and we went through that. But some people are not comfortable in the electronic media. Some people are more in the written media, and some people are in the printed media. So we try to cover the different bases, but here we are.
All right. So, you don't know when, anytime soon you're going to start it forward.
We may or may not, but at the moment we concentrate on the honor series, and we did 41 of those that went up to Sunday, and we have started the first 2 with the feature on the mini league that started in 1976. Today we'll publish a 3rd one, and we'll probably do that for the next 6 or 8 days, next week or week and a half, till we think we cover all the franchises Now what we're doing is asking those players and people who were in each of the franchises, in Beckenbauer, in Rocky Bar, in Colorado, who we're doing today, in Arantes, in Juventus, in Park Rovers, in Nascimento, to write their own story and get their people from their time, because I don't know everything.
True.
I can't cover everything factually. And then we share it, and then we add, and then we present, and then others will criticize us, add to it, correct us, and help the facts, the figures, and the history be recorded in our language with our pictures and our stories, that others can share or look at and say they were fools to do it this way, let's do it a better way, or this is where it come from. Now I understand.
True.
And help it to grow, but it will be written and it will be there for all to look, to criticize, or to add to and improve on as we go forward.
Thank you. Fair enough. Max, anything in the chat room?
Not.
You want to read out a few?
No, not singing. Oh, I'm not in the chat room, my dear.
Oh, okay. I forgot. All right. So, Flavius, before we go, let me read out a couple. There's Robert Hall, the best general manager, very professional, and plays a great deal in Harbourview success.
That's right. He's from from that Florida area. Big up yourself, Robert.
And this one is Yardi 416. Flavius, big up from Toronto.
that's Flavius and his Toronto crew with Azzy D and Melo and Anton Fairclough and that entire group.
And then Junior
Skedron,
okay. And Junior said this, and what Clyde and all the exec have done for Harbourview Football Club is amazing. It is better to grow up in that organization than it looks from outside. I felt like a professional before I left and become a pro.
Wow.
Well, he was playing like a professional from Woolman's days.
That's correct. And that's the beauty about it. And probably there aren't many who are better example than Hubert Jr. Groves, because what has been instilled from all of us, from all the pioneers who taught us, is that you learn and you adapt and you practice a professional attitude, despite whatever, whoever, or wherever. And that is what one of the secrets why a lot of our players can go anywhere in the world and sign professional contracts.
True.
That's the business.
Right.
Where it starts from. Your talent will be added to it, but your personality and your attitude is what will get you through.
Yeah. I remember that Woolman's team with Junior, Pringle, Ronnie.
Yes, Paul Pringle.
And, and Berry. That was a awesome team.
Berry, yes, he was a big striker.
Yeah, man. Awesome team.
Big striker.
Yeah. So, thank you, Clyde Jureidini.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, for taking time out of your schedule this morning and for spending some time here with us. And we ask that, you can do it again whenever you find the time. We are open, to accept you anytime. The forum is yours to use whenever you can.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
I just want to say thanks to everybody and hope that everybody stays safe through the pandemic. Keep the mask and all the restrictions that have been stated to us, so we can get over it and then get back to sports and to life and to make the world a better place.
Here, Flavius.
Beautiful.
You're 1 cent, and then we get out of here with Max Wanet. Flavius? Max Wanet, you want to go?
Not a problem. Yeah, we hear you, Flavius. Go ahead.
Yeah, my disappointment is that with the great example that Harbourview has set for clubs in Jamaica, I don't think enough clubs are following suit. And I think that's what needs to happen. And that will bring the football further ahead and in an easier way than it is now. Because if the club is not organized properly, we're not going to move. And we need all of them to get to Harbourview's level so we can move in one accord, And the professional dream can be a reality much earlier, and much easier and better.
Okay.
And the best for the players.
True.
So Clyde, keep doing what you do. Also, use your good office to encourage other clubs to join you.
Okay. Well, let's use this forum flavors as we always do, and your encouraging words. So we invite everybody to join us, but even more so, we invite everybody to lead us, because we don't assume that we know more than anybody. We may have more experience in some areas. We may know a little bit more about some, but we have found that new clubs, new persons, and new entities also teach us. So we need to be led and to be guided and to be part of that team as well. So we are willing to participate, and it takes us where we all can go, because no one team can do it alone. As the super teams who thought they were super teams thought they could go on their own or just make a league of their own. It falls flat very quickly. I don't think we have ever seen anything fall so flat so quickly on a world stage.
So quickly.
We have to work together, and we have to share the good and the bad and the indifferent.
True. Max?
Well, again, it was beautiful having you. It's been a great show, very enlightening. I'm not sports oriented, and boy, did I learn a lot today that I wasn't even in the chat. I had to really pay attention to what's been going on, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful. Sports are very much needed in more ways than one. So thanks again, and I just want to say thanks to everyone. You're welcome, dear.
Okay.
Yes, Franco.
Okay, so we want to thank all our viewers in the chat room this morning, those who participated, those who didn't, but we welcome you at always. And we look forward to do it tomorrow when we have our chef with us tomorrow, and Dan out of London will be giving up updates on what is happening in football circle in London as well. And so, as I always said, take care of yourself and loved ones. Live and love every moment of your life. Be grateful for each new day. Cherish your family and friends. Bless others. Keep the faith and never lose hope. And remember, prayer changes things. Regardless of what religion you belong to, continue to pray. All right? And so, Clyde, we thank you once again. And all our viewers and listeners worldwide, thank you.
Thank you, one love.
Okay. So in the words from the Garifuna language, our father, from Queen Lubafu, and then Tafina, to take us out with Tekwa myself.
You lead us so full. You belong far away away. Ajugwala lebo buseru. Lida mua, lida sungfula. Lida mua, lida sungfula.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer sorrow. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know what set me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out of sight. Me I fi take away me say. I fi take away myself. I have to utilize I weeds. Surely I leave her ease. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, but soon
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
I'm over inch, I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel like when they say